Welcome, viewers. This is Brother Steve, and we are talking today about our struggles in Sudan, what's going on in Haiti, and the issues of the Sahel, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. News reports we have collected this week indicate that Sudan remains engulfed in civil war between the Sudanese Armed Forces, the SAF, and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, now entering a third year of fighting with devastating civilian impact. The conflict has triggered one of the largest humanitarian crises in the world, with millions displaced and widespread food insecurity. U.S. Secretary of State, the arch-pig reactionary Marco Rubio, has stated that Washington's immediate objective is to achieve a cessation of hostilities in the Sudan. Well, if he wants a cessation of hostilities, then it's something U.S. imperialism is going to get out of that. U.S. imperialism wants nothing that it cannot control or compromise. They have a quad group, the United States, Egypt, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, who say that the people in Sudan cannot have a seat at the table. Ridiculous. There was a drone strike on UN facility in Kaduji, Kordofan recently that killed 6 Bangladeshi peacekeepers and wounded others. So this battle is deadly. There are mass atrocities that are going to happen with civilians being harmed. Cholera and other diseases are outbreaking. It's already widespread due to breakdowns in health infrastructure, clean water. The worsening crisis in Sudan has implications for regional stability, including displacement pressures and dynamics coming from key forces such as the United Arab Emirates, the United States, U.S. imperialism, the Quad, and the Sudanese government. Let's shift to the Sahel. We look at the Sahel quite frequently, and we're seeing that the development of forces in Sahel is going on pretty good. There is increased collaboration between Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso in the area of military and security concerns. However, we continue to hear that there are humanitarian issues in the Sahel because of the Islamists, funded by whom, who attack government forces and soldiers. There are groups linked to Al Qaeda and ISIS, these disgusting rightist jihadist takfiris. They undermine state authority and complicate peacekeeping and stabilization efforts. Millions of people across Sahel remain displaced or at risk due to violence and climate-linked food shortages. Aid access and funding sustainability are ongoing challenges for humanitarian actors in the region. How does this compare to what's happening in Haiti? Well, Haiti, you have a kind of a different situation. You have a transitional government that was imposed on the people. You have armed groups where government cannot and does not govern, who take on the role of government. You have a new United Nations gang suppressing unit. We're hearing very little about that in the media. And we also have Mercenaries by Edward Prince, led by him, former head of Blackwater. Food shortages, school closures, healthcare risks, Many of the similar things you're finding in Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali, but not because those are oppressive governments. Because in many parts of the world, the infrastructure of the third world countries is underdeveloped intentionally by the imperialists and the local compradors. So we are seeing in all these areas a couple key similarities. One, humanitarian agencies warn that global funding shortfalls are deepening crises across Sudan, the Sahel, and Haiti, with critical operations at risk of disruption by the year's end. Well, the year's end is about 2 weeks away. It doesn't look too good. There's displacement in food security, and the geopolitical environment is being dominated by imperialism. More specifically, U.S. imperialism in Haiti. Now, in Sudan, that's not necessarily the case, but when it comes to Sahel, we don't see much of it either. So U.S. imperialism is putting its nose in the business of people. Now, I misspoke. In Sudan, we do see U.S. imperialism trying to influence the affairs through the Quad initiatives to bring about a so-called ceasefire. So that's what's going on in these two parts of the world, my viewers. They all involve Black people, people of African descent. They all involve some who are fighting to free themselves of oppression, those who are being oppressed by local compradors as in Haiti, and those who are fighting for their survival, humanitarian justice, as we see in the Sudan. This program will keep all of our viewers up to date on what's happening in these regions. We appreciate you listening, tuning in, and being part of our community of listeners. Thank you very much.